Hello, everyone, and welcome to the 27th episode of the Fans of DC Universe podcast, the only DCU podcast for the fans, by the fans, and the best source for all DC Universe news and discussion on everything DCU. So, joining us this week, we have Awesome.Squid.
Hi.
We have the wonderful, talented Aurora.
Hello.
And we have the boring but old me. This week we are discussing the new comics, the Arrow finale, DC Daily getting a podcast, and we might do a segment on 5G because, well, we seem to do one every week. So we'll start out with the new comics that came out this week. We had Doom Patrol number 20, Detective Comics number 347, House of Mystery number 199, House of Secrets number 130, Superman number 21, World's Finest number 201, Mysteries of Love in Space number 1, Action Comics number 107, Batgirl number 31, Batman Beyond number 28, Detective Comics number 997, The Flash number 63, and The Flash Annual number 2, Old Lady Harley number 4, Heroes in Crisis number 5, which I can't exactly recommend you read, Justice League Annual number 1, Justice League Odyssey number 5, Raven Daughter of Darkness number 12, The Silencer number 13, Teen Titans Annual number 1, and The Terrifics number 12. Oh, and Wonder Woman number 63. So just curious, what did you guys read from DC Comics this week?
I haven't gotten much of anything read, personally.
I might be in the same boat. What?
Oh, I've been dealing with sick kids, so
What
I
did
haven't
I
gotten
read?
much of anything done.
Let me look at what I read this week, because I don't remember. What did you read this week, Awesome.Squid?
I haven't really had a chance to read anything new this week.
I know you read Dawn of X.
Yeah, that's not DC, but I did read that. I read the Dawn of X, Powers
Okay.
of X.
Give us a rating from 1 to 10.
I'd give it a solid 9.
Yeah. Dang, I'm
despite
trying
you having horrible taste in liking Tom King's Batman run, your suggestion that I read this was not incorrect. It's very good.
Okay, since the last time we talked, I have read exactly one DC comic.
What?
I've read exactly one DC comic between now and the last time we talked.
But why?
It was Justice League number 39. The end of Snyder's Justice League.
Did you read any of the stuff building up towards the end?
You mean all number 1 through 35?
Yes.
Yeah, I've read it all. So I finished the whole run.
Oh, I did read the last issue of Snyder's run, and it was... Yeah, well, it fizzled out.
Well, it didn't fizzle out. It just ended on such a cliffhanger with no clear announcement. It ends with the teaser for the next announcement, but we don't exactly know when we're getting the next announcement, the next part of the story, which we all know is Crisis, right?
Yeah, it's gonna be some sort of dark metal sequel. I mean, it wasn't that surprising that this wasn't really the conclusion.
No.
Scott Snyder has been talking for quite a long time about how his Justice League run would just be building up towards a Dark Knights Metal sequel.
Yes. And the other thing that it built up to was Year of the Villain, Hell's Arisen. Which I haven't actually started reading it.
I just couldn't care that. I couldn't care less.
Well, I mean, Tinian's reading
it. Infected
right
and I don't care.
I'm curious to see how it goes.
Honestly, I think Year of the Villain ruined the pacing of Scott Snyder's Justice League for me. I knew that we were supposed to get an event last December and then another event in February. But I think he's just been drawing out this last arc of Year of the Villain because of some editorial mandate.
Well, I think his run has been pretty solid. I don't think Year of the Villain was hurt by Year of the Villain. I don't think his run was hurt by Year of the Villain. I think DC as a whole was hurt by Year of the Villain.
No, I know that his run wasn't for Year of the Villain. What I'm saying is I feel like DC editorials we want an event, so let's do Year of the Villain. And I think that kind of forced Snyder to change his plan. I think it sort of ruined the pacing of his Justice League book.
Yeah. I wouldn't have been surprised if he had initially planned for it to go to 50, because I think he wanted to go to 50 originally, and then 51 would have been Crisis. Or maybe 45 would have been Crisis, right? Instead, we have
I
this
knew that
option.
okay, I think, here's my theory, and I'm basing this off of almost nothing. I think he's smushing two of his planned events together.
Which two?
Well, we were supposed to be getting some answers, like maybe not an event, but like sort of a bigger arc in Justice League in like February, and we were definitely supposed to get a Dark Knight sequel inside of
That's right.
December.
Although that was like last year February, right? Not this year February.
No, this year February.
Well, no, that big arc I thought was Hell's Arisen.
No, I think Hell's Arisen is like a brand new thing for Year of the Villain. I don't think he.
No, it definitely comes from Justice League because it comes from Justice League number 8. Like there's some very direct references to Year of the Villain, like a setup for Hell's Arisen.
Okay, so maybe he was playing on Hell's Arisen. Maybe I know that there was a Dark Knight's Metal sequel planned for December.
Because basically they have this intense talk where Lex captures Batman Who Laughs, and Batman Who Laughs says, "Look, I'm Batman, so I'm here because I want to be, and I can get out the second I want to be." And he says, "I'm here and because I want to make a deal with you. If you don't mess with my plans, I won't mess with your plans." And then Joker is pissed at Lex for making a deal with the Batman Who Laughs, and that's why Joker leaves the Legion of Doom.
Yeah,
right. And so Lex and Batman Who Laughs make that deal, and then the two go off on their own, making their own separate plans. Batman Who Laughs doing Affected, Lex doing the Legion of Doom Year of the Villain stuff. And now the two have come to clash because now that the heroes are out of the way, the only option for each of them is to come against each other.
Maybe Hell's Arisen didn't come nowhere. I do think Year of the Villain totally came out of nowhere, because that definitely.
Well, I think the biggest gripe, and it's the last thing I'll say on this, is I really like what Scott Snyder did. Let's be clear. I think he's really good at subtly messaging like bigger thematic ideas into his comics. I think the idea of people having to choose between justice and doom is something that's really hard. Like I constantly think I'm notorious for coming up with what if villain stories. I'm very bad at what if hero stories, right? Because there's something so satisfying about watching characters turn evil, even if just for a little bit. You know, and I think it works best in a what if scenario, right? Because I don't want a character to long term turn evil. Captain America Nazi. What? That was my introduction to comics. That was the first comic I ever read. The Secret Empire #0.
Why?
Captain America. It was Captain America comic because it was the big event, and I was like, "That's what got me to comics." I was reading an IGN review of a comic. I don't even know why, and I was like blown away because they were referencing like this event was referenced in this comic, and this was referenced here, and I was like, "Oh my god, this sounds so cool!" So I was like, "I'll just start with this event and see what I think, and I'll probably not get into it." And then I was hooked on Secret Empire #0. So I read all the follow-up to Secret Empire. But I was like, that was my intro to comics, was this like Captain America revealing himself to be a Nazi and taking over the world. So yeah, that's slightly problematic. But I think Snyder was really good at his messaging. My gripe with Snyder's Justice League. Oh my god, what was my gripe with Snyder's Justice League? Oops. I don't remember. It'll come back to me.
The final arc took too long?
No,
and
that
weird
wasn't
ending.
Oh, I remember. It's that we talked about like the infected, like and Lex Luthor stuff happening, but it felt like the continuity between the two was non-existent, right? Like Superman was fighting Lex here, but
oh yeah, that
and Wonder and like
it's like Batman's doing something in the Batman series, something else in Detective Comics,
right? And it just didn't make sense
it's
for
on an even bigger scale.
When Scott Snyder's Justice League run started with Josh Williamson, James Tynion, and Scott Snyder coming up with a cohesive plan. Okay, clearly that plan partly fell apart. The big one being Josh Williamson left Justice League Odyssey, which was his Justice League title. That was sort of the first fall apart of the plan. But it didn't. I was confused as to why Tynion or why Snyder and Williamson were unable to collaborate and come up with that arc together. Right? Like, I think that's the biggest weakness.
I don't think they were unable to collaborate. I think Williamson was just really, really freaking bad at writing a team book. He even admitted to himself multiple times in interviews. So he's like, I can't write this good. I'm going to leave. And somebody else who's much better at writing team books is going to replace him.
Abnett made the book way better. The problem is now it feels completely unimportant.
Yes, I have not.
I actually really enjoy it, but it feels completely unimportant.
And I think that the Infected arc and the Legion of and Doom War, that's what it's called, Doom War and the Infected. I feel like those both feel sort of disconnected from each other.
Oh, definitely.
Not because he left Justice League Odyssey, but because Year of the Villain. I think Year of the Villain forced a lot of people to change their plans and try to tie everything into the villain.
Well, right, we had Bendis' Superman going on at the exact same time with Event Leviathan, going on at the exact same time as Justice Doom War, going on at the exact same time as the Infected. Tell me this wasn't a recipe for disaster. But I think that's part of it is DC just failed at the tight continuity that Rebirth early on was so known for. Right? Like, part of why Rebirth early on worked is I could say this occurs here.
I think it fell apart because Doomsday Clock took like a couple more years than planned. But
and then Bendis and Tomasi being like, I'm out of stories. And then Bendis being like, I'll take over. And then, or Bendis signing a contract with DC, he wanted to leave Marvel. And then
Tomasi wasn't done with it. Tomasi was going to continue, right?
I don't remember, because I think Tomasi ended on a really solid ending point. And Jurgens did the same.
No, I think he ended on a solid ending point because he knew he was leaving the book and had to wrap it up.
Yeah, but that was such a good ending. Like, what was Nothing Gold Can Stay, or whatever was the final issue. And it was
just want Tomasi to continue writing books that I like. What's he doing now? He's doing Detective Comics, and it's
which is really good.
Mediocre. No, it's
it started. All the Batman Robin stuff has been wonderful.
Well, you see, that's what he's good at. I keep meaning they have. Apparently, I just found this out. They have a Batman and Robin by Tomasi omnibus, which I had no idea about.
Yeah, he did. He did it in he did New 52 and.
I know he did the New 52. I just don't have.
And he did 2010, I think, while Morrison was doing Batman.
I don't think.
I think he did it in 2010 as well.
Did he?
I think so. I hear it's wonderful. I haven't read it.
Remember, I read it. It's not great.
And every time I delve into New 52, I'm like, this is boring.
New 52 is not great. I like Snyder's Batman run.
Yeah, I don't want to read the rest of the Batman titles so I can get these giant events because they're so big.
They are.
With the New 52 stuff, it just depends on what series,
Yeah, but all the Snyder Batman stuff is these massive events every 6 issues.
Yeah, yes, but but here's the thing: you don't have to read any of the tie-ins; they're completely irrelevant, and just the Batman core series is the core story. Of the event.
But then you have the Dick Grayson Night of the Owl stuff, which is too interesting not to pass up on.
It's not. It's very, very not interesting. Just pass
Is it kind of interesting?
It's not good. It's no.
And again, I'm not really into the Batman stuff. So
the whole Court of Owls, the whole making of event, I think it was just a retcon thing on Scott Snyder's part. I think it was I think he was afraid that somebody was going to retcon that, oh no, it turns out the Court of Owls wasn't around for a long time. They were brand new, and we just didn't know, and they just pretended to be old, blah, blah, blah. So I think he was scared that was going to happen. So he's like, oh, we're making an event, and every single book is going to tell us about how old the Court of Owls is. And we're even going to have,
that makes sense.
Jonah Hex fight the Court of Owls. Because every single one has, a talent from a different time period. So, the Court of Owls was around back then. And they even had an all-star Western arc where Jonah Hex fights an early version of the Court of Owls because
I don't like all-star Western. That was the one where everyone's like, "Oh, it's so good, you should read it." I was got bored after 2 issues. It was like, well, why am I reading this?
It's not. I don't know. It's like it starts off good in my opinion, but then it evolves into just like this weird like I don't know. The New 52 is weird. Has anyone read Demon Knights?
No.
No.
Demon
Like
Knights
I
was
said,
a weird book.
I'm a Rebirth person, right? So I've every time I dabble in New 52, I'm just disappointed. I think the only New 52 series I've actually read, and I read only up to issue 40 before I was like, I'm bored because Johns isn't writing this anymore, was Aquaman. And I read up until Johns left, and then just got really bored because I was like, why am I even reading this still?
I think
it felt like it lost all its momentum.
Batman and Justice League were good during the 52, but everything else was really bad.
I mean, I didn't think the JSA was bad, but I think toward the end where they started splitting the teams up was getting a little iffy, you know?
Okay. So, while we're here...
I like Gotham Academy. Gotham Academy is good, and that's New 52 technically. Even when they did Rebirth and Gotham Academy was still going on, they didn't put the DC Rebirth label on Gotham Academy just because it was still technically a New 52 book in their mind.
I'm trying to see if I read anything
DCU.
else.
Do people consider DCU part of the New 52? I do.
What, which one?
No, DCU, spelled Y-O-U.
Yeah, I consider it part, because you have, like, the Damian son of Batman or whatever.
I consider, like, the DCU, like, just as, like, just a weird chapter of the New 52. Have you read Future's End?
No.
Good.
It's not even in continuity anymore, so why would I read it?
Well, because most of DC Comics stuff isn't in continuity anymore.
True. No, I think I'm looking through my list.
Don't read it. Imagine a bunch of characters you don't care about doing things you don't care about that don't even matter at the end except to set up an event that you don't care about.
No, but I'm looking through my list, and I think I'm mostly just reading...
Did Convergence even happen? Because there's been no reference to it, even though the pre-crisis multiverse should exist.
Convergence? Well, the big thing, the reason why we know what happened is because Superman. Although, I think they erased it from continuity with Superman Reborn. So, I don't even know.
That's why I don't get all these, reboots and stuff.
Well, I'm excited for 5G.
All you have to, like, when trying to make sense of the reboots and things, all you have to do is keep in mind that DC also doesn't understand what the heck they're doing.
Okay, I have a confession. You ready? I have read exactly 2 DC comics this month in the last 14 days. Wonder Woman number 750 and this one. Because I'm just so sick of this continuity stuff. Like, we talked about how convoluted all this stuff is. It just makes me feel like nothing matters. And with 5G on the horizon, I just want to jump to 5G.
No, because 5G is also going to just not matter in the end, Nathan.Payson. You need to realize this cycle. You got into DC Rebirth. You're like, oh, great, this all matters. And then you start to realize, oh, wait, none of it actually matters. And the same thing's going to happen to 5G. The same thing's going to happen. You just got to find some series that are good.
But here's the problem. The stuff I read now, I know will only matter for like a half year. Okay?
The stuff that's coming out right now doesn't matter at all anyways.
Yeah, but like in continuity-wise, it'll matter for like the next like 6 months of comics, and then it'll be over with. Right? The stuff at the beginning of Rebirth mattered for years. Right?
Yeah,
that's my argument.
5G's eventually all of it doesn't matter, and it's got to the point where DC has rebooted so much that literally none of it matters anymore.
Although I do wonder if DC has decided that they're not going to, because they say they're not going to reboot. Now, quote, they say they're not going to reboot after 5G, and that 5G is what they call the anti-reboot because it's bringing every former reboot back in the continuity
by rebooting it, right?
Yes, true, right? So. Since we're on the topic of 5G, I thought it'd be fun to do a new segment called Dream 5G. I don't know. I need a better name for it.
I know, but I mean, I know the biggest thing I'm hoping for with 5G is, dang it, they need to bring JSA back, you know?
I think it's happening.
Oh, I
think Snyder's doing it.
Oh, definitely going to happen.
And Snyder, it's definitely going to be Black Label. Snyder.
They included it inside of, like, 5G is all about the generations. The JSA is one of the important generations of, like, the DC, like, sort of universe's history. And they made a huge point about bringing it back inside of Doomsday Clock. Now, I don't think editorial wants Doomsday Clock to matter, but it was popular, so they're going to want to cash in on that. And
I
Scott
lied.
Snyder, who they do like, introduced the JSA inside of Justice League. There's no way the JSA isn't coming back.
Oh, I lied. I read all of Far Sector. I caught up on Far Sector. That's a really good comic.
Ooh, yes,
So
Far
good.
Sector's great.
Wonderful.
I read Far Sector.
But no, I think JSA is definitely happening.
I just hope it isn't a complete reboot when they bring it back, because I would like for some time to have passed and for them to acknowledge, some of the past, history with that comic. And
I don't know. I think
it'll be
it's a whole reboot. I think it's going to be a reboot. I'm sorry. Yeah. I think it is.
Because, well, let's think about what's happened in DC continuity, what's happening in 5G so far. Because there are a couple stories we have in 5G, right? The big one being Wonder Woman 750, the final story, Snyder's New World, where, spoiler alert, at the very end, Alan Scott, the original Green Lantern, is watching a documentary, like one of those World War II documentary things, like during the 1940s, about Wonder Woman's coming into the world, and at the end, his Green Lantern ring shines, and that's where the comic ends with the beginning ... So I'm pretty sure that JSA is a definite happening. On top of Awesome.Squid's mentioning of it's already happened in Justice League. He's already reintroduced them and all that. I just think it'll be a full reboot, and that Scott Snyder will be trying to modernize the JSA original story for a new audience. I don't think it's a bad idea.
I don't think Scott Snyder's a good fit for JSA.
No. I don't know.
I'd like to see Tomasi try it,
Mm-hmm. Well,
I don't think Tomasi wants that.
Well.
Yeah, it's too true. No.
I usually like about anything he does.
I think Tomasi wants to do current stuff. I don't think he wants to really delve into Black Label, because he's been very hesitant to do mature content at all.
Well, I don't know.
And he's very good at
mature at this point. Do they even know what that Black Label is? It's Black Label's a mature comic.
Yes, I think they do now.
We're not going to make it We're not going to make it mature. We're just going to slap the Black Label thing on a bunch of graphic novels that we're going to reprint. Oh wait,
no.
We're getting rid of Vertigo, so now we need a label to stick on mature comics.
Exactly. I think Black Label is the replacement of Vertigo.
It's not. I don't think they know what it is.
I thought that
because it's a cool name.
But I think Black Label, in all fairness, has had some bit of a resurgence, because I think they'll
trademark the logo. We better use it or something.
No, but language. We are a PG-13 podcast, so
yeah.
What language? I didn't say anything.
But
I said, dang it.
I mean, just because there were complaints, not too long ago about bat junk,
Yeah, but my understanding is DC Black Label has found its footing. I've heard wonderful things about Joker Killer Smile and Harleen, and I hear Wonder Woman Dead Earth is really good. And I think they found their footing. It just took them a year and a half.
Look, the books that are coming out with the Black Label name are good, but they still haven't convinced me that DC actually knows what Black Label means. I don't think Black Label means anything as a title. Just because a good book has Black Label on it doesn't mean they know what the heck they're doing with the idea of Black Label. It's I don't think they know what they're doing with Black Label. I think they're just sticky on stuff. And luckily, so far, most of that stuff has been good. Okay,
so for Dream 5G, we're going to talk about our ideal Batman lineup. Okay?
Ooh.
So we had a bit of discussion in the Discord ahead of time, and I was like, let's bring this to an actual podcast. So, here's how it's going to work. We only get to choose, each of us gets to choose 3 different titles, or let's say 4 different titles, that you want in a Batman comic, okay? In the Batman line. So that could be, I want a Batwoman comic, okay? And feel free to say the one thing about the Batwoman comic that you want to happen. Notably, let's say a character development, okay? Let's call it your Dream 5G lineup, okay? Knowing that one of them has to be, and then I'm also going to include the John Ridley for Batman, because that's the rumored Batman line. Okay, does that make sense? So I'm going to start, Okay? And I'm gonna write these down, okay? So I'm gonna start. So we have John Ridley Batman, and then for my first one, I want a Nightwing comic with Damian Wayne. Okay? I want Damian Wayne to start trying to take over the mantle of Nightwing.
Like he did in Injustice?
Yeah, but like way better. Like, come on. Like Injustice didn't do a great job with the Nightwing, Damian Wayne stuff.
No.
No, but I want to see.
He became like Deadman and gave him his costume. He's like,
because I love all the moments. Yeah, but I want this because I love all the moments where Damian's like Richard, and like they have a fun dynamic. One of my favorite comics of Rebirth was the Nightwing comic where Nightwing's having a scare about being a father, and Damian Wayne's like just there, and they have a really interesting conversation where they're both trying to find themselves in their life. And I think Damian. Yeah, and Damian's a great foil character. He's great at amplifying other characters.
Yes, I think he's a good side character. I don't think he's enough to carry his own book, but if you stick him with a Nightwing book, I think that could work.
Plus, I think for Damian, I was thinking like, how can Dick Grayson evolve, right? As Nightwing, because if we create another Nightwing comic, it's going to feel very stale, right? Because we've just had 2 years, we've had 10 years, a decade of Nightwing comics.
No,
right? I think there are plenty of great Nightwing comics.
It got interrupted for
Rick Grayson. I still call it a Nightwing comic. Love it, but
yeah, but they hated Nightwing, so they
right. But so how do you move? How do you say that in this decade? But I guess my question is, how do you say in this decade that Nightwing has evolved? Right? Because he didn't, right? So how do we make him evolve for the upcoming decade? And I think having him really develop a strong sidekick could be a really important step on his journey. And I
don't know if I want. The only problem I have is I don't know if I want Damian to become Nightwing. I'm fine with like Nightwing becoming something more.
Or what if Damian becomes a sidekick to Nightwing? Like not Nightwing itself.
Like yeah, sure.
Or like what if Damian becomes Talon? Okay, theoretical idea here. Okay, but he's like a quote unquote good Talon or something. I think there could be something interesting there. So I'm gonna go with a Nightwing Damian Wayne comic. For my first one. Aurora, what's a dream Batman comic for 5G?
Oh boy. Well, I'm already liking the fact that, Babs is back, but
okay.
But, even with that, like seeing her, like you put it, mentoring, somebody new.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, by this point, she'd probably be getting older. So, have like her, mentoring. Yeah. I mean, in her 30s, have her mentoring a couple of younger girls,
Sort
of like a young Birds of Prey.
Yeah.
Sort of like fun. How the she did that with like Cassandra Cain, right?
So I'm gonna call it Batgirl and the New Birds of Prey.
Mm-hmm.
Or I don't like the term Birds of Prey, but like
why not?
Yeah. I mean, you could come up with a different title for it, but I mean, Babs working with some younger girls and mentoring them, and because think about it, she gets girls with various different talents, some that are like streetwise and tough, and she gets others that are got the computer skills and
throw in a character from Gotham Academy.
Yes, that sounds like a great way to continue continuity. But I think one reason why it sounds awesome is one of the things Rebirth tried to do was make Barbara more involved in her local community. And one of the things she did was becoming like a librarian who like took like side jobs at like a charity who helped teach coding to young girls. And I think DC didn't have enough time to really explore that direction. Other than have it be a peripheral thing. And I think having it be a main thing could be really cool.
Yeah, because I mean, take a situation like that where, these are girls she comes into contact with. You've got your girls, like I said, some that are going to be scrappers. You're going to have others that are going to be smart and they're going to be doing the coding. And it's
so like
getting
we
girls
are Robin, but for Batgirl, except good.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, and yeah, I think
So
it also has a
basically,
wonderful
not at all like
parallel.
we are wrong.
Yeah, I also think it has a wonderful parallel with the whole girls in STEM conversation right now.
Yeah.
I think that's a really important conversation to have. And Batgirl, and what was it? I just read Ant-Man or the Wasp, Unstoppable Wasp, and that's a very childish comic, but it deals with some of the most mature themes I've seen a comic deal with in a while. And it was absolutely phenomenal. It dealt with Nadia's bipolar disorder, trying to like young girls trying to figure out their relationship together, like LGBTQ wise, and also just had some wonderful girls with STEM stuff. And I think that sounds like a wonderful option. And I think it also does a really great job with the 5G theme of passing on to the next generation, which seems to be the rumor right now.
I mean, I like the idea that, anybody can put together a team of, little, Robin clones where everybody wants to go, beat stuff up. And at the same time, if you, have a team of, these kids that are, each one is good in their own different way.
Awesome.Squid.
And
yes,
your turn.
First, I do really like Barbara, and she's one of my favorite characters, and I really do like your pitch for. I think that's fantastic. I would definitely be picking it.
I want that title.
If it's true. I don't know what I would. I would like a new. I would like two sort of companion series, like two sides of the same coin: Gotham Knights and Batman and the Outsiders.
Okay? Can you explain how they'd be two sides of the same coin?
Well, Gotham Knights would focus on the Bat family working as a single unit. Finally, again, because they don't really do that in the comics anymore, and I kind of miss it because I like their characters and I like their characters interacting. And Batman would be running that. They'd be dealing with all the main threats with Gotham. Batman and the Outsiders would be Batman's team. He does that the Bat family doesn't know about. And they'd sort of be both dealing with the same threats, but in different ways. Showing Batman sort of tactics behind the scenes, and that would not go well.
Do you feel like it could feel a little redundant, though?
Yeah, I don't know. I don't have
Hey, I like what you're thinking. No, I think a Batman family title needs to happen.
Something I would like. But
I
can't do something as strong as Aurora.
I agree, though. I mean, that's about the best pitch you could possibly imagine. The fact that comic doesn't exist now makes me so sad. Gotham Academy 2.
Gotham Academy 2.
I feel like Aurora's comic. I feel like
Gotham Academy third semester.
I feel like New Birds of Prey, though, would be a Gotham Academy sequel in a sense, but with Barbara as the principal, which sounds amazing. I think Aurora just won the pitch competition.
What about an Arkham Asylum book?
Arkham Asylum book?
I'm down. That just focuses on all the villains having group therapy and drama instead of Arkham Asylum.
That Tom King should write it.
No. Get the heck away from.
Well, doesn't it sound like
the heck he does?
Doesn't that sound like the most Tom King comic ever?
Yeah, it sounds like he's right.
If they're having group therapy, does that mean that Harley is leading it? I mean, she's a psychiatrist after all.
I would love. I think that'd be such a fun she's Harley Quinn's done with Suicide Squad. She's done putting her life at risk for people who don't care about her, and she's like, I'm gonna give myself to other people, and she becomes a therapist at Arkham Asylum, which is sort of a coming full circle.
Yeah, because that's what she was before, except. I don't think Arkham Asylum would let her become an official therapist.
So that's a Harley Quinn title?
Considering that she's insane and dresses up like a clown and kills people.
I think it could also be a really fun mini-series.
Yeah, just like an Arkham Asylum.
I think that's one thing I'd love 5G to do more of, is just have these mini-series that are really designed to flesh out an important aspect of the world, but not try to become an ongoing. Because I was thinking about
Arkham
Rebirth.
Manor.
Right, but part of it is I was thinking about Rebirth, right? And there's a lot of comics in Rebirth, which especially in the miniseries, which are completely unimportant. I couldn't name one important miniseries that's not a full event comic, right? And I think one thing I was thinking about with Hoxus Poxus is they have some miniseries that they're working on right now, which are just really wonderful. or like The Town Really Wonderful with Dawn of X, because they're just these short 6-issue stories we want to tell because we think it's important to the world. We think it's an important story to tell, and that's all we're going to tell. We're not going to try to turn this into an ongoing, and I think that's a really wonderful idea. I don't think this could carry. I don't think it's become an ongoing, but I think this would be a wonderful 6 issues.
Arkham Asylum.
Okay, so we have Nightwing, Damian, Batgirl and the New Birds of Prey, Gotham Knights / Arkham Asylum. I want a Tim Drake comic.
Drake.
Called Drake. But you have to realize they lean into the fact that a drake is a dragon, not the fact that a drake is a duck. Because they're both.
Good.
You realize this, right?
That's a good idea.
I think Drake is an awesome name if you lean into the fact that Drake means dragon. If you lean into this duck-like costume, no. Like, what is Bendis doing?
Although it would be funny if you could, make kind of a joke out of the duck thing, and he keeps getting rubber ducks in the mail or something.
Yes, but he should. But yes. I want him to be like, I know I'm Drake, like a dragon. Drake.
I want to not kind of stop entirely. I don't know. I like the care of Tim Drake, so I would love a series based on.
I'm trying to think, like, what would it be about, though? Right? Like, what would it be about?
Just have it be like his Robin book, except he's like in his own city or something. Like, make another city. Like how Nightwing has Bloodhaven and like Batgirl had Burnside. Make just another one where Drake goes.
What about
something like dark and brooding?
I get it. I know. I'm trying to like think. City name. I think one of my big problems with Rebirth has been a lot of the Batman solo titles have been fun, but felt very largely unimportant because it's hard to tell like an important story within like a Batgirl within a separate town from Gotham, and so it made me not want to read it. And so I was thinking, like, one thing I want 5G to do is find a great way to make all their stories seem important and nuanced. I think that's one of the areas Hickman, Toxis, or Dawn of X is doing really effectively right now, is every story feels important in its own way. And I want DC to lean more into that. Like, be like, I don't want to just tell a story and have it be, oh, we need a Drake comic. If it's a Drake comic, I want it to have a very deliberate purpose.
I would like for... almost like a so you know how Dark Knight's Metal like launched New Justice?
Yeah.
For a while. They should like try to do that again, except do it better. Because I like the New Justice stuff, but like have the idea that like some
Titans was bad.
Some event
Justice League Odyssey was a mess. Teen Titans was good.
Justice League Dark was phenomenal.
Yeah. Justice League was great.
Oh yeah.
Batman or the Detective Comics Batman Outsider stuff wasn't that great.
Well, it took too long to come out.
But what they did right was they had they did 2 volumes of the Outsiders setup within Detective Comics, but it was like pseudo setup with 2 different writers doing both.
Basically,
right?
The idea was that like Dark Knight's Metal was going to come out, and then immediately Batman like the Signal was going to come out, which would set up, like, the Signal. And
but
then
Batman
they were going to do the Detective Comics arcs of, like, Batman the Outsiders, and then that would launch a series or something.
Yeah. There was just a lot of dropped comics. Like, Signal, Duke Thomas had just the messiest Rebirth plot. Like, the best he got was Batman and the Signal.
Scott Snyder set him up inside the New 52. And then sort of just abandoned him on, like, Tom King's doorstep, and Tom King didn't want to write about him and doesn't care about Scott Snyder.
And so it became Tynion's job, but Tynion didn't want to use him because he had a very set team, and so Scott Snyder was
he's just his sort of job chilling to do it inside the back saying like I'm gonna be different.
Yeah, like and he's been there.
Scott Snyder was like, okay, well, I'll use Dark Knight's Metal to make his own identity. If nobody else
except then when he made the identity, they didn't follow up on it. They only did a 3-issue miniseries and then canceled it.
Well,
because and you know why actually it was supposed to be 6. It was supposed to be 6. Potentially ongoing. But you know what they canceled it for?
What?
When I looked up like what was going on, they said we're doing this because we're beginning a new creator-owned DC project, very art focused. We will have more to announce very soon. You know what that project was?
What?
The New Age of Heroes.
Oh, I remember that was called Dark
So it got
Matter.
canceled for like the silencer damage, all that stuff.
No, I thought that they tried to wasn't Signal part of the New Age of Heroes? Like the New Age of Heroes started, and that's when
No, it was
came out, right?
No,
Crap,
not
I'm
quite.
getting all mixed up and out of order.
My understanding, right, is I don't remember hearing much about it at the time because it was kind of was a comic that launched with very little discussion, and
Yes.
but New Age of Heroes I don't think had been announced because I think it ended in January. I want to say that
New Age
it
of
ended
Heroes was
in January.
announced. New Age of Heroes was announced before Dark Knight's Metal happened.
Okay, my question is, when did Batman the Signal end?
I think Batman the Signal came after Dark Knight's Metal because they set it up inside Dark Knight's Metal, and the covers for Batman the Signal say Dark Knight's Metal, it have the freaking New Age of Heroes little badge thingy on them. So I think they're New Age of Hero comics. I think that's the idea.
I'm fact checking this right now.
I'm probably completely and totally wrong.
Batman the Signal finished in April. So yeah, New Age of Heroes was going on together, but it was before New Age of Heroes had started, if that makes sense. But I want to see him do something with Signal.
Well, here's the problem: is New Age of Heroes was supposed to start immediately after Dark Knight's Metal, but then it got pushed back.
Well, no, it also started during. No, it got started during Dark Knight's Metal.
Nope. It took 6 months for any of the books to come out. I remember them getting delayed.
No, but Damage was released while Dark Knight's Metal was still going on, and then when Dark Knight's Metal finished, when Dark Knight's Metal finished, a bunch of the titles did start. What was the one? Immortal Men started right away. Immortal Men started right away. The one that Steve Orlando wrote started right away. Sideways started right away.
I think they took 6 months or something.
No, I'm pretty sure they were released almost right away.
I think they were supposed to be released right away, but then that didn't end up happening. I remember they had this chart when they're all the books had this thick advertisement at the end.
Okay, here you go. Damage
Matter.
Was released in January. Remember, Dark Knight's Metal ended in April. Damage began in January. Silencer began in February. Sideways began in February. Terrifics began in March. Curse of the Brimstone began in April. Yep. Immortal Men began in April. New Challengers began in May. And The Unexpected began in June.
Okay, wait. Well, continue talking.
Okay, anyway.
Don't actually wait. It's going to take me a second. But I'm going to check.
So, but going back to Tim Drake, okay?
I don't believe you.
Yeah, that's true. I just double checked. I'm pretty knowledgeable about release dates for some of this stuff.
You also say that you also happen to say that Tom King's Batman is good, and you're not right.
Wow. So everything I think is wrong because of that, and yet you still somehow trust me. Anyway, I was thinking what can be important with Tim Drake?
I don't entirely trust you.
What would make Tim Drake interesting? Right? What's the angle that makes him feel important?
Wikipedia for the New Age of DC Universe. Of DC Heroes.
And I think the only way that we could get a Tim Drake title is if it's I was thinking a fish out of water. What would Tim Drake look like in a Superman world? What does a Tim Drake of Metrop or him going to college and being a Peter Parker? What do you think of that? Trying to balance his personal life with being a hero?
That's literally just what the Robin series was for a while. So
okay, but maybe we should return to that because what's going on right now with Tim Drake makes absolutely no sense.
Yes, just put him back where he was good and continue to tell good stories out there.
Make him sort of the Peter Parker-esque clown. I'm down with that. And then my last title I really want to happen, and then I'll go back to Aurora, who will come up with the most amazing pitch ever.
Okay, wait.
It's a Stephanie Brown Robin comic.
Just don't have a freaking Doctor kill her.
Well, obviously
Lee
not.
Tompkins.
But I think Stephanie Brown deserves her just due that she never got.
I would love it if they have a comic where she's injured and Batman takes her to Lee Tompkins, and then the issue ends, and then the next issue, she's fine. Dr. Tompkins healed her. Just to sort of spit in the face of War Games.
Yeah, because DC is confirmed with the new timeline or the leaked version of the timeline that Bleeding Cool's run, which as I weirdly still been the only big source of 5G news. Isn't that so weird? All our knowledge of 5G comes from the same website, but like none of it's been proven wrong. I just find it so funny. Like, who's leaking the bleeding pool? And they're like, they claim they have multiple sources on every comic. It's so fascinating.
It's weird.
It is so weird.
Sometimes I think companies intentionally leak stuff to generate hype. I don't.
Why is everything always bleeding? Weird. It's super weird. But no, but I think with the leaked timeline or whatever that Bleeding Cool released, where it wasn't leaked, they took a picture of it, and then they were able to like super scan it and like shrink down and decipher what everything read for the most part. And one of the things is Stephanie Brown does become Robin in the new timeline. So I think that they should explore that. And so that's my final Stephanie Brown Robin comic. I don't know what it would be about, but I think it's important. I think it's an important part of history, of like DC history to include. So Aurora, give us a slam dunk. Give us a slam dunk. What's your next Batman comic pitch?
I think that was just the only one I could come up with. So,
Aurora.
Unless we something that get something that just focuses on Alfred, that would be cool.
You realize Alfred he's dead, right?
I mean, new, even being like a historical type thing,
Oh, like a Pennyworth Black Label title?
You're right about the Dark Knight's medal. I thought they were delayed even with that, but
no, I honestly don't know what you're talking about. I think you're talking about Doomsday Clock, because that's the only thing I can think of that got serious delay. Oh no, you're talking about no, I don't know. I don't know what you're talking about.
Batman. Think something. What I'm thinking is something like seriously retro that makes Alfred back in the old days look like even more of a total badass than he already is.
Pennyworth, like Pennyworth, so it wasn't
right. I wonder what can DC Comics do that make Pennyworth as a comic interesting while still letting Pennyworth as a TV show do its own thing.
Yeah,
does it say the Pennyworth TV show is in comics continuity?
I would be down for I think Alfred would work better as a miniseries, like showing each stage of his life. Like, oh, he's like a child then. He was a secret agent, but he was like an actor.
Because here's what's interesting. I would totally be down with them making Pennyworth the TV show just in continuity with the comics. Because there's nothing in there that's like that doesn't fit in with this timeline.
Yes. Multiple time errors seem to be happening at the same time inside Pennyworth.
Multiple time errors?
Yes. There's it's the 1960s, and they have cameras and cars.
No, I thought it was 1940s. No, 1940s the camera.
Yes, but then they also have the public executions of the 1800s. It's very weird.
I mean, I don't know all the details. I've seen the first episode.
Oh no, it's really oddly bizarre.
Okay.
It's a weird mix of time period. So how Gotham, the TV show Gotham is intentionally designed to take place in the past, but not identifiably in the past.
Yes.
There's old CRT televisions that are black and white, but they also whip out flip phones sometimes. It's in the past. Imagine that on steroids.
Wow.
Where it's oh
yeah.
They didn't do their research.
So basically, at one point they literally do a beheading, and there's news people there with their cameras taking pictures. It's weird. It's freaking bizarre.
Did Britain in the 1940s? Was it? Wait, it takes place after World War I, right?
Execution.
It was after World War I, right?
What?
Is it World War I? Does it take place after World War I? Or was it two?
It takes place after one of the wars.
Yeah.
With the power of the internet, I can look it up right now.
Awesome.Squid, do you have any other big thoughts for what comic you really want?
I don't know. I'm not excited for 5G. I want an ongoing Wonder Woman series by Scott Snyder. It doesn't seem like it's going to be that way. I want a current series, set in the current day. But the current day is going to be full of weird stuff that aren't like.
No. I
hope that the new characters are good. Like the new 5G.
I think Ridley's going to do a wonderful job, but it's going to be a Tom King controversy.
That doesn't mean that the books are going to be weird.
Well, I mean, let's look at what Tom Ridley was originally going to do for DC, and then it got canceled. My guess is because he got moved to something or something at pan out. But clearly DC trusted him. He was going to write The Other Side of History, which was like classic DC stories told from a different perspective.
Oh, no, yeah. No,
often told from like the under.
What happened with that was basically it was probably going to have a lot of violence and like maybe like sexual like stuff inside of it. And then the Batman Damned controversy happened, so it got delayed the heck out. Now it's just like in purgatory instead of going to release. Which is a shame because I really like the idea of like telling like the history of the DC universe, but through like the civil rights movement. It's like such an interesting idea, but it's not gonna. You
know what? Actually, I think I know where I think we are going to get this comic. You know where I think we're going to get it? I think it'll be a launch title for 5G.
No, it's gonna be. It's not. It's gonna be. Well, I mean, that would be a great way to.
Like it's a Black Label 5G. Like it's a Black Label 5G comic because that way they can explore the timeline and like major events in the timeline. They want to like rehash in these stories.
But I feel like that would also sort of ruin the original vision for the comic. I don't know. It could work. I do want to get the book. I just want to get the book because that sounds like a great idea for a book. Like telling the history of like DC Comics, but like through.
Here's the sort of plot summary.
That's just like that's one I want to read, and I'm sad that the Batman like darned controversy.
Well, here's the plot summary for those who are curious. Okay. 12 years a slave writer John Ridley will write The Other Side of DC Universe, which, in DC's words, quote, will analyze iconic DC moments and chart socio-political gains through the perspective of DC superheroes who come from traditionally disenfranchised groups. The series will feature characters ranging from Jon Stewart, Vixen, Supergirl, and Katana, to lesser-known characters such as Renee Montoya and Extraño of the Global Guardians. The Other Side of DC Universe isn't about saving the world, it's about having the strength to simply be who you are. I could not be more excited by the opportunity to excavate the canon of the DC Universe through a vast array of characters who've earned their seat at the table. I am very impressed with DC's commitment to making their history as reverent and urgent as it is engaging and entertaining for all its many fans. See, that comes to me across as a 5G comic.
What do you mean that definitely wasn't meant to be a 5G comic?
No, but that sounds like it could definitely be a 5G comic.
I feel like they could rework it, but I don't want the focus of that to be on 5G. I think it's trying to be something more special and something more.
True, but that was announced 2 years ago.
I don't want to be reading it being like, ooh, what's like the history of 5G? I want to be reading it like, I don't know.
I just want to say that was announced 2 years ago and then never came out.
Well, yeah, like Wonder Woman Dead Earth was also going to be one of like the first Black Label titles, and that's just coming.
It did come out though.
I would be surprised if it eventually everything happens. We talked about. I hope it isn't 5G. I want it to be its own like special thing.
Okay, so to recap, this is our ideal lineup for the Batman series of 5G, and then we're going to move on to other stuff. Don't include
my things, because my things aren't ideal.
What? So we have Batman by John Ridley, the 4th, and then we have Nightwing and Damian, Batgirl and the New Birds of Prey, Gotham Knights / Outsiders. I could see it being like a 2-issue, like a 2-parter. Like there's like 2 different parts to the comic. It's just like a combined comic or something.
Oh, they can be like those weird children's books where you flip them and then read them from the way.
Yes, that could work. That could be fun too. Arkham Asylum with Harley Quinn. I think that's. Aurora, was that your idea, Aurora? Or was that?
It was a half and half idea.
See, that's an amazing one too. Aurora came up with all the good ideas. See, that's what happens when you have a writer.
Well, my last one that I came up with was the retro comic with Alfred too.
Oh, Pennyworth, yeah. Drake and Stephanie Robin, and then Pennyworth. That's our ideal lineup. Plus, no one mentioned what Detective Comics would be. Just saying.
The Pennyworth TV show takes place in the 1950s and 60s, sort of.
Interesting.
So after World War II, but like it's like
I would like to see the World War II like spy days and stuff, you know.
I think
Yeah,
so.
like,
I think
that
we're
would
gonna
be
get
great.
that through Wonder
Like the-
Woman by Snyder,
No,
or whoever ends up writing the
we're gonna get like World War II, but Scott Snyder's Wonder Woman isn't gonna be an ongoing movie.
Well, you know what? I really appreciate you guys doing this podcast every week. You know, it's really fun. But of course, we have some competition now. DC Daily is releasing a weekly podcast. So, have you guys listened to it?
No.
No? Okay, I listened to it. It's fun, but they do that thing where, like, they're all very funny, but they do that thing, and they have great chemistry, but they do that thing where they never say anything negative. Ever.
Well, because they're an official DC podcast. What are they?
Yeah, but then they say like the thoughts and opinions of these people are not the thoughts and opinions of DC proper. It's like, oh my god.
Yeah, but do you know what they have? Actual production quality.
They're also just funny. It's also shorter.
And like
they're only 30 minutes, whereas we're longer. So we're better. They also didn't mention any of the comics coming out that week on DC Universe. They only talk about comics coming out like
that's right,
local comic shop.
Get it here.
So yeah, if you want to hear comic discussion on comics currently coming to DC Universe, you can come listen to us here. Although we keep not talking about any of the comics coming out from that time period. Oh, I also read Batman Beyond this week. I'm caught up with the DC Universe stuff. That's wonderful. Read it. But if no one else listened to it, then I guess that's all we can really say. I guess I'm the only person who listened to it. No, I would check it out, but just be aware, okay, that we're the better podcast, according to me, and I'm not biased in my opinion at all.
Look, but if you want, I haven't even listened to the other podcasts, and I already know that's
better, or that they're better.
They're better.
They're better. Wow. Yeah, they just don't talk about the news.
I'm on this one. You know this podcast is bad because I'm on it.
I like when you're on it. We just disagree on
I'm not exactly a seal of quality.
Aurora is a seal of quality, though, isn't she?
Yes, that is
look at her with her Batgirl and the Birds of Prey.
Her fantastic ideas.
Awesome.Squid. Have you seen the Birds of Prey movie?
Not yet. I'm going to go tomorrow.
Then we can't really talk about that.
I probably will not see it until it actually hits DVD because...
Yeah, I'm kind of in that boat.
Well...
Because of coronavirus, and because you mentioned earlier that, like, you never...
Coronavirus is such a non-issue for most of the country.
No, it isn't. It isn't
I live
the virus.
In Vermont, in, like, a town that has, like, 2,000 people in or something. 2,000 or 3,000 people.
And do any of them have coronavirus? No, then you're fine.
I'm in a town with only 9,000 people in it, and like the middle of the boonies. So.
Only 9,000 is like 3 times like the amount that my town has.
I live in this town called Seattle.
Wow.
With only 3 million.
Haven't even heard of it. Real middle of nowhere.
Yeah, right?
But yeah. No, the reason I don't go to movie theaters to see a lot of movies is that I'm allergic to coconut.
Oh yeah, the coconut thing.
Yeah, because coconut oil is usually what they pop all the popcorn in, and every time I go to the theater, I break out in hives.
Ooh. You know how to break out
have,
success?
Like, a sensitivity, so I just have to not eat the popcorn.
You know how to break out success? Well, I kind of broke out. I don't even know where I'm going. This is an attempt to segue into Arrow's conclusion. It had its finale.
Ew.
Yes.
You guys watch it?
Yes.
Did you like it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It was sad.
It existed. They sort of botched this whole finale thing. They're like, okay. So how about we basically have a series finale with season 7, then going to have a season 8 that's completely different, multiverse related, but also a look back. Then we're going to have a huge epic crossover where our main character dies twice, spoiler, and the second time is permanent. And then we're going to have a backdoor pilot for another show set in the future, but also where the characters' lives take place both before and after the last episode. Then we're gonna have the finale. It's so
I think Crisis on Infinite Earths was the Arrow finale. And I think I like to think of the last 2 episodes as an epilogue.
This wasn't. Yes. Yeah.
Yes.
That's a good way of saying.
Like they already nailed the landing.
Finale.
There was nothing this episode could have done to make us think it was a bad episode. Or to be like, this sucks.
Oh no,
right? It wasn't significant.
There was things that they could have done. They could have done some weird things. Like, trust me, there are ways that anything can be ruined.
It would have been hard to up a funeral. Come on, like, let's be real.
Like, you can even burn bacon. Like, there's ways to ruin fantastic things.
But even if this was like a horrible ending, no one would have like looked bad down on Arrow because the finale like epilogue thing was bad. Like, they already nailed the landing.
This
right?
was more of a
this is just thank you.
Epilogue. This was heroic.
Yes,
this was a respectful epilogue.
And I thought it did
other characters and the legacy of Oliver.
It had all the moments you wanted to happen.
Oh, like the Green Lantern one.
Yeah. And I think my one complaint, okay, I actually had 2 big complaints. The 2 moments I expected to happen that didn't happen was, one, they brought like William and Felicity met, right? But then they like Felicity and say, "Will you move back with me?" or whatever, which is one of the things Oliver asked William to do, or asked Felicity to do, as he was dying, was to reunite William and Mia. And it's clear they did end up doing that because the Birds of Prey, but can we just call it Birds of Prey for now? That's basically what it is.
Green Arrow and the Canaries. It's like Birds of Prey without any of the Birds of Prey, though.
Although we have Huntress, we have Black Canary.
Sort of.
We sort of have Huntress.
I guess you could argue.
They tease Huntress.
It's like Huntress, but she's like not Huntress because
that and how they brought Moira back, and the fact that she's aware of William and accepting of having William around now. You don't know what happens after the cameras stop rolling, you know?
Yeah. Mm-hmm. But I think it was. I liked what they did. Is it was sort of this idea that like Oliver saved the universe. Right, and this is Oliver's thing against the world. This is right to the multiverse. Like he wanted to bring everyone back. Like he wanted to repent for all his sins and sort of bring them back. And I think seeing people like Tommy and Moira back was really awesome.
I liked it too.
What's the worst thing that happens? Right, it leaves the door for them to eventually have another cameo again. Like there's no way this is gonna like change any significant story stuff, right? Which is the way I want.
There's the Green Lantern thing.
But come on, is Moira going to be Green Lantern? Like, is Moira going to be involved in the Green Lantern series? No.
It was a fun way to have the characters cameo again, exactly. And sort of like one problem that people do bring up is that Tommy was the reason Oliver stopped killing. Basically, Tommy found out that like Oliver was like the Hood or whatever he was called back then, and they're like, "Oh my gosh, you're a serial killer," because he totally is. He has like a list of names that he's crossing off, and he's covering them with arrows. Right? He's a serial killer. So Tommy like freaks out at him and then dies inside of earthquake. So
I think it's a non-issue.
Tommy thought I was. Well, a lot of people think it's an issue that like Oliver could only change the deaths that didn't change him, but they're like, but Tommy's death changed him. But
the other moment I wanted, this is the last thing I'll say. Yeah.
Wait.
Okay.
I like to think that it's not a problem because Oliver, no matter what, has become a better person. He was always had the potential to be a better person. Tommy didn't need to die for him to be a better person than he was inside of season 1.
Yeah.
So that's my headcanon.
Well, I was gonna check because I gotta do the TV report, but I don't have my thing up right now that lets me check what's going on right now. So if you give me a second, I gotta find some stuff. That's okay. So we can conclude with the TV report because we're at about time. But I'll say this: the other thing I wanted to see happen was I wanted to see Green Arrow, or I wanted to see the line where it's like, "John Stewart, you have the potential for great will." I just wanted to hear the iconic lines that you see when you accept the.
Yeah,
you know what I'm talking about?
They, that probably was too Green Lantern-y for WB. They're like, no. There can be a green light, but don't be too Green Lantern about it. I think I would like him to show up in a crossover or something. I think it would make more sense for John Diggle to just never show up again, like Hal Jordan. Because aside this universe, Hal Jordan got the ring, presumably, and then just disappeared and never came back. Oof.
Well, I'm curious to see what they'll do.
I don't like the idea of John Diggle being Jon Stewart. I know it's a fan theory. I literally like Jon Stewart.
Oh, come on. His middle name has been confirmed to be Stewart.
Yes, I know, because they well, it started off as a fan theory. Oh, what if John Diggle is Jon Stewart? And there's literally nothing backing that up other than
and then DC
created
things to back it up.
But then the era was like, oh yeah, let's go with that, and so they started like backing it up, like creating things. Personally, I'm not the biggest fan of it because I like the character of Diggle and I like the character of Jon Stewart, but they're not the same person. But
I think being like thinking of like the Arrow or Jon Stewart or Diggle's story is sort of a pre-Arrowverse, like as a this is the origin story of Jon Stewart. I think is kind of really cool because it shows like how he's been such a hero. Because it's so easy for like these Green Arrow comics when they introduce new characters for you never to get a sense of who they were before they got the ring. And I think
that's what I like about Jessica Cruz is that they actually like sort of like developed.
Right, but they fleshed her out once she sort of became the Green Lantern, right?
Well,
they did a great job fleshing out her human side while she was the Green Lantern.
She wasn't a Green Lantern at first, though. She got like she was sort of a Green Lantern. She got like Power Rings ring, which is like sort of a Green Lantern ring from like another Earth, except it tried to control her, but she was strong.
Also, I'm pretty sure we're going to be seeing John Diggle Green Lantern in the HBO show because DC has been very dodgy and said that they have more to announce at some point in the future about that plot line.
No,
they're not going to do anything now.
Nope. Entirely separate, completely different, not Arrowverse connected at all. That's what I think.
They said there's going to be two key individuals. So originally everyone was like, "Oh, it's going to be Jessica Cruz and Simon."
That two key individuals just means two key individuals. That can mean anything. But they said it would follow two Green Lanterns. That doesn't even imply Diggle.
No, but originally everyone thought it implied Jessica Cruz and Simon Buzz, but now I'm thinking it might be Diggle and Hal.
Well, it might be. But, like, not this version of... I'd be surprised. I'd be really surprised. If it is the same actor, it's definitely not going to be set on the same Earth, because they've already sort of tried to hint that it takes place on, like, Earth 12 or something.
Well, they could retcon that.
They could just be like, oh, yeah, no, never mind. That
was the Green Lantern movie, you know.
Yeah, they used footage from the movie, but... Like,
that could exactly be their argument. They're like, we used footage from the movie. Why would we?
I think that like Warner Brothers doesn't want the weird CW shows. They don't really like that much to be touching their precious.
The rumor though is that they're developing the rumor is they're developing Arrowverse miniseries. So,
they should. I want a Katana one. I want to know what Katana did after she left.
Katana did.
Yes.
I mean, we got some teaser, right? We got that. We got some of that in Arrow season 8. Anyway,
get a miniseries. That would be nice.
So once again, we ran out of time to talk about Harley Quinn. I'll just say this: I like what they're doing with Harley Quinn. It's not the most fun show to talk about because it's not like a lot of theorizing what will happen. You know, like it's funny, but I couldn't talk about it for more than like 5 minutes.
I don't care about the show. I like only half the jokes land, and it's not particularly interesting. It's just pointlessly violent. It's like,
I mean, the Harley Quinn Highway was fun, but kind of just weird, random, and I didn't really follow through. And when you separate Ivy and Harley Quinn, the story just doesn't work as well.
I know. I haven't reached that point because I stopped watching it like a month ago.
My other thought is one of the best elements of the Harley Quinn comic is the parent is Harley and the mom, but then they kind of just threw that out the window.
Harley and the what?
Harley and her mom. The mom is the unforgiving individual in Harley's life. The only person who will always be there for her. And they kind of threw that away. I'm not going to spoil it, but yeah. Anyway, last but not least, here is your weekly TV show report. Heroes Report!
Oh no.
So tonight there is no Supergirl or Batwoman because it's the Oscars. I'm curious to see who won now. I might look it up. Can you look that up for me?
Sure.
Tell me if Joker won anything. so that we can break the news on the podcast, which of course won't be breaking news, but whatever. But on Monday,
we can break the news to ourselves.
Yes,
it can be
exactly.
a reaction.
You can live react to it. Yeah.
Nathan
Just only tell me if
maybe Aurora react to.
Yeah. Tell me who, if they've announced Best Picture, who it was, and then tell me Joker won anything. So Black Lightning on Monday. The Book
Best
of Markovia,
Pictures.
Chapter 4. Black
Parasite.
Lightning and his team descend upon Markovia on a mission to rescue Lynn, who finds herself in even more trouble when she meets Gravedigger. On Tuesday, The Flash, Love of the Battlefield. Barry and Iris plan a romantic dinner for Valentine's Day, but their evening is interrupted by an old foe, Amunet. DC's Legends of Tomorrow, Episode 3. Slay Anything. When the Legends discover a new encore, Sarah, Roy, and Ava end up crashing a high school reunion in an attempt to stop a serial killer from finishing unfinished business. And then on Wednesday it's Riverdale stuff, and then none of that DC stuff.
Riverdale is DC.
I hear Katie Keene is fun though. Did you know Katie Keene is rated R?
Did you know that Nancy Drew is actually pretty decent?
You guys keep telling me about this. I still don't believe you.
You guys, I think I'm the only one talking about it.
No, I believe you though. I didn't know Katie Keene was. Oh no, R means rerun. Katie Keene's TV 14. I hear it's fine. The reviews weren't all that positive.
Nancy Drew?
No, Katie Keene.
I don't know the.
Isn't Nancy Drew like kind of supernatural?
Kind of. It entirely revolves around the supernatural. It was weird as heck.
Wasn't the original like not supernatural at all?
I'm pretty sure the books weren't supernatural at all. Basically, it's not Nancy Drew at all. But I also haven't read the book, so it's not like I'm a Nancy Drew purist. So
anyway, and then to conclude everything, on Friday you'll get a new Harley Quinn TV episode, and that's all the DC shows. You know what's weird? It feels like we've like kind of quieted down on like DC content. It's like the Arrowverse, and then there's whatever DCU is doing at any given time, and that's about it these days.
And I mean, based on what I'm seeing, my guesstimate on when the Stargirl series will be out, I'm thinking May.
Really?
Yes. Perfect.
I was thinking it'd be in March, like late March. Because DC has nothing to sustain itself between now and then.
What I'm saying,
and Doom Patrol is coming out in May.
Well, what I mean is that, if it were going to be March, I think they'd already be advertising the premiere date.
Well, Awesome.Squid did a great job breaking the news, so here I am to clean it all up. The Oscar, what? The Oscar Phoenix. So the Oscar for actor in leading role was won by Phoenix, which was his 4th Oscar nomination.
He didn't to pick it up, did he? He never.
It only took one. It also took home one other Oscar. So best performance for Joaquin Phoenix, and then also took home best score, best original score. There you go.
I don't think the Oscars really matter. I think they just want
then this is big news.
I think it's just a chance for like
the best picture. The best picture for the Oscars was Parasite, which is amazing.
I keep hearing great things about that.
I think what's so amazing is it's like a foreign film. It's like one of the first Korean film ever to receive a nomination, and now ever to receive an Oscar.
I want to see it. I did not get to see it in theaters though, so I'll have to wait.
Oh, I haven't seen it yet. I want to see it. I hear it's wonderful.
I saw the trailer. Fantastic. I heard the reviews. They all say it's fantastic. So I'm interested.
I think it's really cool that the Academy gave it to Parasite, which a lot of people thought was their favorite film, but they didn't think the Academy would actually give it to them.
Ford versus Ferrari nominated?
I don't know. I don't know. I was a little amazed that Parasite got Best Directing, because I was for sure thought it was going to go to 1917. That's okay. I'm trying to see if there's anything else that's like super notable
to be nominated, right?
What? Toy Story 4 won Best Feature Film.
What?
I'm trying to see if there's anything else I'm like, you must like know this. I'm not seeing anything other than that. Parasite's won 4 different Oscars. Little Women won Best Costume Design.
Claws. It's not based off of the weird Grant Morrison comic.
No. So I'm saying Once Upon a Time at Hollywood did good. And then...
Oh, I also keep hearing things about that.
I don't want to watch it. The Irishman didn't get, like, anything. Jojo Rabbit got some stuff. Marriage Story got some stuff. I mean, Judy, whatever that is.
Oh boy, Ford v. Ferrari got best sound editing.
Sound engineering's is kind of hard though, and that seems like the sort of movie that would do a great job with sound engineering. I'm a little amazed 1917 didn't get more stuff, but Parasite swept with 4 Oscars for best directing, best film. It also won best foreign film, and it won one other award. Oh, best original screenplay. So I thought anyway. That's the Oscars for you. Now, off topic, 5 minutes. Donovan, give me your Hoxus Poxus review.
Me? What? Oh,
yeah,
I thought we were
go.
doing this.
Go.
It was good. Nathan.Payson suggested I read it, even though I know nothing about Marvel and definitely know nothing about X-Men. I didn't believe him that it would be good because he also likes Tom King's Batman. But I read it, and it was actually really good, like 9 out of 10. It's very interestingly woven together.
Mm-hmm.
It sets up a lot of stuff for the future, like learning about Moira's powers and the future and all the info sheets. I've never found random information sheets right in the middle of a comic to be interesting. Probably because nobody's done it because it sounds like a horrible idea. But they're very engrossing. They're very good.
I will tell you this.
Read them. I don't.
Dawn of X
really
keeps Dawn of X keeps the intro sheets going, but most of them are nowhere near as interesting.
Oh.
There's a couple really good ones. There's a couple really good ones. Sometimes they're just all over the place. Some of them are really interesting.
I don't know. Sometimes there's even writing with the sheets, the one of the first ones where they're talking about the Cohen drugs or whatever.
Yeah.
Human drug I and L, M or whatever. And then they're the mutant section has the 2 different ones, cocoa and gateways. And the final one, which is black, and it's like a cancer inside cocoa, and your stomach drops. Oh, that's not a good sign.
Mm-hmm. I think I was thinking about Dawn of X. I think the most effective use of Dawn of X information things is Marauders does text messages. So they do conversations, they don't have time for panels.
Oh
no, between characters that are important and have an important story, and they don't want to lose momentum in those stories, but they focus on a different story, and so they'll do it through a text message or an email or something, and that stuff has been really good.
Are they full of weird lead speak and acronyms that don't actually exist?
No, they feel very authentic and real.
Oh,
and they're fun. They're super fun. You'll love Marauders. It's hysterical and incredibly deep political in an interesting political sense.
Twins?
What?
Comedy. When is Wonder Twins DC Universe?
When is Wonder Twins coming? April.
Can't wait.
No, wait.
I keep hearing good things about it.
Yeah, April, because Dial H is March.
I can't believe I didn't pick up Wonder Twins when it came out.
Wonder Twins is fun.
They didn't advertise as that. They didn't advertise as comedy. I would have picked it up if I knew. It seemed to actually be a legitimate thing. They're trying to do a serious Wonder Twins book, or at least that's what the advertisements are. I thought no.
Okay, so last comment. Okay, do you recommend everyone goes and reads House of X, Powers of 10, even if they know nothing about the X-Men or Marvel?
Yes, because I know nothing about the X-Men. I was still able to follow it. I was. Maybe I would have said no in a time when the internet doesn't exist, but it does. So now you can look up characters to see if they've always existed brand new. That was the one thing that I had to look up. Is this weird gold ball guy new? No. They had a character from a long time ago who made gold balls. And that's all he did. Okay. So now they're doing something interesting with it.
Yeah,
is Moira brand new? Apparently Moira is brand new.
No, Moira has existed since the 1970s. Claremont's
I didn't know that.
Yeah. Although she's always been Although, small spoiler alert, we're not going to get into any more spoilers about Moira, but she's always been a human, and there's a retcon. Yeah. It's a retcon.
So they're retconning that she's got like these like
that's as far as we're gonna
powers.
Say. But anyway, she's got. Something.
I was just going to work into my review. I was just going to say there's some really interesting powers that like really play with like they open up the opportunity for like the story of your expectations. So it's so interesting. It's so interesting. It's so well designed too. I can't say the Dawn of X stuff is good because I haven't read it, but it was.
Sorry,
it's. I will give it this. It's better than Tom King's Batman, but that's not saying much.
Oh my god! He gave it a 9. That means it's amazing. That says a lot.
Okay, Nathan.Payson, do you think that Tom King's Batman or whatever the new X-Men thing is called, which one's better?
The new X-Men. New X-Men by far. That's not even a question.
Yes, I agree.
That's not even a question. I like Tom King's run a lot. X-Men is like my favorite. Insane. It's my favorite. It's become my favorite franchise ever. Anyway, that's all I'm gonna say.
What?
Aurora, you want to end off with anything?
DC Universe podcast. You're gonna end it by saying that X-Men is not your favorite?
No, I just asked if Aurora wants to say anything before we close it off.
No.
Say something DC related, please.
No, you're all good. You want to plug anything?
Okay. I'm all good. It's almost midnight here, and I'm actually getting a little sleepy.
It's midnight where I am.
Well, I guess I'm gonna close off with this. You guys are all amazing. Thanks to everyone who still listens to our podcast. I am so sorry that we've been bad about the weekly thing. You can blame me. Work is a lot. I'm trying to do stuff.
Because I didn't.
Plus, for the record, I create the plans, and then I'm not blaming you. For the record, I create the plans, and then we'll never get enough people without me. So I always have to host.
You deserve all the blame for liking Tom King's Batman.
Oh, yeah.
But that's okay. So like even today, I'm like putting aside homework so I can record with you guys. So now I'm gonna go do homework and learn about the Russian government for 3 hours, and then go to bed at midnight.
Which one?
To wake up to school at 6.
The current one.
The current one, yeah. But also you have to understand the history of the Russian government too.
Wasn't like beer considered like a soft drink inside Russia for a while?
I don't know. I don't think it'd be a very good soft drink.
Well, I think they classified it as one.
Well, with that note in mind, yes, don't drink unless you're over 21.
Soft drink in Russia
or you're 21. Okay. Don't drink unless you're 21 or over. With that note,
yes,
bye.
Bye.